Although the talk of Hulk Hogan signing with TNA has died down considerably, the company is still moving forward with plans to hold a Sunday night 3-hour pay-per-view. Most TNA officials are moving forward with the idea that Hogan has his heart set on appearing on WrestleMania 20, even though he didn't in the end, and will not work with TNA before then, and he did not work with TNA after then for another 6 years. Some office members are still hoping that Hogan will work with the company this summer, but most believe that Hogan was simply using TNA for leverage to use in his WrestleMania 20 negotiations with Vince McMahon. At any rate, TNA officials are still planning to hold at least one traditional Sunday night pay-per-view as early as this summer. There is some concern as to whether Sunday night events will hurt the buy rate for Wednesday shows, but TNA officials are said to be moving forward with the experiment.
I don't know, I feel like at this point, you offer anyone who's buying this weekly pay-per-view a bigger one on Sunday, they're probably just going to drop the money as well.
Yeah, and I guess it probably depends on the card. If it doesn't look like something that's worthy of a $30, $40 price tag, I think $30 is what they were aiming for. 3 times the price, basically, of a weekly pay-per-view. They just won't buy it. I don't think it's a case that's like they'll stop buying the Wednesday shows or they'll definitely buy this one. It's just, is it a good show worth buying? I'll buy it. Is it not? I won't.
Yeah, that was under the assumption that they're putting their best effort forward.
We'll talk about what they were planning for it in a second. One more small Hogan note for the time being. On ESPN Radio, host Joe McDonnell, who was a big fan, brought up TNA. Hogan acknowledged the angle with Jeff Jarrett, said he got hurt, and tried to change the subject right away.
What a pro.
He was also on Kimmel that week and did not mention it at all. Shock of all shocks.
Jimmy Kimmel just being like, so, TNA.
Good Jimmy Kimmel impression right there.
Thank you.
So, NWA-TNA's first foray into Sunday night 3-hour pay-per-views has been rescheduled for April 4th. Doesn't happen again, but listen, they're trying. Jeff Jarrett announced in a wrestler meeting before the January 21st show. Hogan is not scheduled for the event, but there is a major name planned as Jarrett's opponent in the main event. The event is likely to take place in Kentucky at the Army base with country singer Toby Keith performing.
I wish that was his opponent.
Jarrett against Toby Keith is probably bigger than the actual match they plan to do. Which, have you read down? Did you see the match they plan to do?
I see a big glaring name.
Alright. This month, you may notice, if you watch the month of January 2004 TNA, you may notice the opening theme song to the show is suddenly done by the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Or as I thought, literally Jay Lethal.
Yeah, 2003 Hydro has jumped for Ring of Honor to talk about being a man in the opening titles of NWA-TNA.
Be a man, Hulk.
So yeah, the opening theme song, there's actually 2 of them this month. There's the opening theme song, which they changed on the first show of the month, which is a remixed version of what the theme song was. It's a little more modern sounding, it's a little more upbeat. I actually quite liked it.
Yeah, I like both of them.
And then they make the shift for the rest of January and most of February to the song "Are You Ready?" It's spelled "or-you," I have to pronounce it that way. "Are You Ready?"
Rue ready.
Rue ready? It's like Scooby-Doo. It's like, "Rue ready?" It's from Randy Savage's 2003 Be a Man album. It's remixed for TNA. There is new lyrics by Randy Savage where he just changes some words, basically. So they did change the song to a Randy Savage theme song. It's a very strange theme song. It doesn't make much sense. I can't work out all of the lyrics. I can work out the lyrics of the original version, and then the TNA version, which is just basically like copy and paste some TNA lyrics in there. I have no idea what he's saying.
I assume you're going to recite it now for the lovely listeners.
Alright, so we gonna do the damn thing, so I hope you all ready. TNA's gonna rip the wrestling ring like I don't know what he says. It sounds like Betty, but I think it's 2 syllables. It rhymes with ready, I suppose. Don't know. And rock steady, you should never got me started. In this wrestling ring, you dearly departed. That's a wrestler coming off like this. There's supposed to be a word in there. I can't work out what it is. One that's lyrically inclined with a mic in his fist. It's the Savage Man with the mess you're playing. I got you waving your hands saying...
Oh, did you want me to do it?
Yeah, because it's another female that comes in with the last line. So if you'd like to, please.
Read me back in again.
I got your hands... God damn it.
I got you waving your hands.
I got you waving your hands saying,
"That's my jam."
Thank you. Those are the lyrics. That you will have heard that in the intro, of course, because, of course, the intro song to this podcast is whatever the current theme song is. So you will have heard it on the intro. There will be no quotes on the intro. I actually tried messing with putting quotes over the Randy Savage song. Did not work. So this month, no quotes in the intro, just Randy Savage.
I got you waving your hands saying, "TNA is the best professional wrestling company in the world."
So yeah, Randy Savage is doing the theme song. So that's their planned main event for the April Bound for Glory event. The April first 3-hour pay-per-view. They were planning to bring Randy Savage out of retirement to face Jeff Jarrett for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
I don't think that's an awful plan.
Well, Randy is not in particularly great wrestling shape these days, but it is a pay-per-view worthy main event.
He's a name. That's all that matters.
And we do come back to the idea of Randy Savage and Randy Savage against Jeff Jarrett later in the year.
And I have seen that clip
of his debut and then his 6-man tag team match.
Mm-hmm.
The 6-man tag team match being generous. It's a 3-on-2 handicap match that Savage shows up to at the end. So NWA-TNA hopes Savage will be the marquee name that will make their 3-hour pay-per-view appear to be a big deal worth the estimated $30 price tag. And it must be noted, I don't believe at any stage they announced this publicly. I think this was just announced backstage. So at least they learned their lesson this time. They didn't announce another pay-per-view they had to cancel. So also talk of getting Hall, Nash, and Shamrock for the show. They wanted, I think, Hall and Nash against Sting and Jarrett or something like that. Some combination of that for the show. And Shamrock coming back is a thing we'll talk about more in both 2004 and 2019.
One run more successful than the other.
Indeed. And the only other match that's been discussed openly for the April 4th TNA pay-per-view at this point is Roddy Piper versus Johnny Fairplay, which would be Fairplay's first match in TNA. Despite the rocky history between the two, as Fairplay discussed in detail in the recent completed Torch Talk, which I haven't read, but I will look into. They're both apparently open to the match since they know it's probably best for business and get publicity. Basically, they'll do anything just to work to get a payday.
Fair enough.
So would you buy that show, Liam, with Roddy Piper versus Johnny Fairplay and Jeff Jarrett versus Macho Man Randy Savage?
No.
Oh. And they did kind of blow the one thing they were building to for the other Bound for Glory was Ultimate X2, which they did this month. So maybe they'll do Ultimate, they're probably just like, oh, let's do Ultimate X3.
Yeah. And we'll do the Triple X thing too.